Join ForumIAS Academy, trusted by hundreds of toppers, including IAS Rank 1 Shruti Sharma.
Welcome to the Hindu News Analysis. I'm Krishnan. Today I'll be discussing these 5 articles. Let us directly go on to the first article. So the first article is about what are the challenges that Biden is facing and what he's been doing so far and what is the future course of action. So why is it in news? Because US President Joe Biden, he delivered a speech recently. So this is his second State of the Union address. So in this, what did he talk about? He's telling in the history of US, this is something remarkable because unemployment levels are very low. That is, most youths, people in the rural areas, they're all doing jobs. So unemployment levels are very low. You know, right? Throughout the world, globally, inflation levels have spiked. But he's telling in the US, inflation levels, we have brought it down. We have eased it. Next is telling we are taxing the super rich. So we are taxing the super rich, and with that money we are doing welfare schemes like that is telling. And essential drugs, prices of essential drugs, medical claims, medical insurance, is telling all these things, prices have come down. And he has not cut down on any social security services. You remember, right? When Trump came, he told he'll cut down Obamacare because it is a medical insurance scheme. So he's telling we have not done anything like that. So by telling these 5 things, he's telling we are doing good for the people of America. And one more thing, what he's saying throughout the world, democracies are becoming very strong. Why America is telling democracies becoming very strong is a good thing for America? Because then only they'll have alliances. With democratic countries, they can have alliances. So, and he's telling autocracies are becoming weaker and weaker day by day. But he's also acknowledging Russia and China continue to remain key foreign challenges. Why? Because Russia, what has happened? Earlier it was annexation of Crimea. Now what is the problem? War with Ukraine, that is the problem. China, they are creating problems everywhere. Why is telling that China also is a problem? Because Indo-Pacific region problem is there, and recently they sent a balloon also. I hope you saw those things in the news. So a balloon was flying over America's airspace, right? I hope you guys saw it. So this is the thing. So he's telling Russia, whatever happening in Russia-Ukraine region is a test for America. Because America is a superpower, right? But it has not been able to do anything. So he's telling whatever happening in Russia-Ukraine region is a test for America. Next is telling with regard to China, is telling we will protect our sovereignty. Why is telling sovereignty? Because the balloon came into America's airspace itself. So he's telling we'll do anything to protect our sovereignty. So these are the things he talked about. But what are the challenges he has? First thing, he's telling inflations have come down, but what has happened? Energy prices are very high. Why do you think energy prices went up? Because of Russia-Ukraine war only. So energy prices have gone up and slow growth in wages. So this is very important, right? Even if the inflation is increasing, if wage growth is good, we can manage it. But slow growth in wages. So next he talked about becoming president again. I hope you guys remember that American president, he can become president for 2 times. So he wants to become president again, but only 37 Democrats back him. So you have Democrat and Republican contestant. Democrats will elect one person and Republicans will elect one person. So, but it seems right now most Democrats are not in favor of electing him. So this is a challenge for him. And in the Senate, what is happening? It is majoritarily a Republican controlled house. That is, he's not having majority there. It's like Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. If you want your policies to be passed, you should have your majority, right? But what is happening in Senate, Republicans are there. So he's not able to push his policies. So that is also a challenge for him. And war in Ukraine, no end in sight. So there seems no end game at all. It's like it's keeping going on. What will happen? People will doubt America's standing itself. So what will Europeans say? Oh, America, no, they can't do anything. They'll just speak, but they can't help their alliances when they are in need. So like that they'll tell, no. So that is also a challenge for Biden. So what are the other challenges? China is also rising. It is actually a wrong thing to say that China is rising. It has already risen. So what will happen when 2 global superpowers come together? There will be clash. So they are competing for influence. So and the balloon incident is a case in point. I mean they have even got the audacity to send a balloon inside America's airspace. So that shows how China has grown in stature. So his major challenge will be to check escalation in tensions and deterioration in ties with China. So he should make sure that ties don't deteriorate and tensions do not escalate, so that balance of power is maintained. So it is his duty to make sure that everything is going smooth. Next, safeguard standing in Europe. That is because what is happening in Ukraine. So Russia is attacking Ukraine, but the Western powers are able to do nothing. They are not able to stop Russia. So all these things are his challenges. So I hope you understood what I was trying to tell. Let us move on to the next article. So the next article is a critique of the recent budget. So the author Pulaprev Balakrishna, he talks about a few areas where the government should give more focus. So let us see that. So what he's saying is budget is receiving great prices. So everybody is talking great things about India, and he's telling okay, that is fine, because what has happened, private investment for first 9 months, it is 50% greater than what was anticipated. So naturally everybody will have positive things to say about Indian economy. But he's asking, is income alone the criteria to be evaluated while studying an economy? He's telling if the GDP keeps growing, if growth rate is very high, he's asking if that is alone enough to tell that an economy is doing well. So that is the question he's asking. So he's telling, is the size of economy enough to give clear picture of the economy? He's telling, no, it is actually not, because there could still be growth and the number of poor people will not decrease. So growth can also increase. At the same time, number of poor people also can increase, because if few people keep earning more money, growth will be there. At the same time, poor people can also be increasing. So he's telling this is not a good way to study the economy. So he's telling even the Prime Minister is focusing only on the size. He's telling in 2019, Prime Minister told India will be $5 trillion economy in 2024. He's telling, why are you focusing only on these numbers, these big things, that the macroeconomic structure? So he's telling these things will not give you a clear picture. So he's telling other agencies, other firms are also seeing this only. So he is quoting another example. He's telling India recently overtook United Kingdom to be the world's 5th largest economy. So and later a London-based firm is that firm is telling India's economy would reach $10 trillion and become the world's largest by 2037. So another organization also told keeping the average income of Indians by 2047, India will be the country with the largest economy. But he's telling these will not show the real grassroots situation, because by 2047, for us to become the a country with the largest GDP, there need not be any development, because it was calculated using nominal GDP, and if there is slight inflation, that alone is enough to show India has grown so much. So he's telling these will not reflect the ground scenarios. If you see all this data, you will never know what is happening in the ground level. So on the other hand, Western countries are also praising India. So why is this happening? So one thing, genuine interest is West is interested because democracy is thriving in East. So India is a very rare example. In the Eastern countries, India has a very thriving democracy, right? So Western countries will be naturally attracted to us because they find a good alliance in us, and we also are attracted to them because we get a lot of strategic leverage through their alliance. So that is good. So it is a win-win situation. So Western elites, what they are looking for in India, looking for alliance because of same democratic ideals. So but the main thing is, in India, if you invest globally, you will get very high returns, because India is going through a very fast growth process. So that is why Western countries are very attracted to India. So even if you say India is becoming a $10 trillion economy in 15 years, that is good for the country. Of course, GDP will increase. People who invest, they'll get money. So all those things are there. But what we should ask is, will this generate jobs, or it will lead to more equality? I actually told this, right? Rich people keep getting richer and poor people keep getting poorer, and the distance between them, will it keep widening? So that is the question. So he's telling to avoid this, what we should do. So if we keep building the economy, what will happen to ecology? we are harming the environment also, no? So he's telling we should focus on two things. That is, one, if we want an equitable development, we should generate enough jobs, and at the other time focus on environment also. So that is why he's telling to get real picture, you need to focus on employment and ecology. So this is what he is trying to say. So he's giving a solution also. Let's see what solution is giving. So he's telling first let us focus on unemployment. So unemployment, he's telling the finance minister did not talk about this at all in her budget speech. This is very wrong because we are getting this data from the private sector. The number of people employed in December 2022 was less than it was in 2016. So this is very important. So unemployment rates have increased and employment has come down. So December 2022 there is only less jobs compared to what happened in December 2016. So what does this show? This show growth of national economy has not generated an equal growth in employment. So in whatever our GDP growth was in December 2016, it is very high now in December 2022. But at the same time, employment has not grown. So what is telling? GDP growth, economic growth is not related to employment. Only if everybody get employment, the fruits of GDP growth can be shared among everybody, right? But what is happening? No, only the economy is improving, but there are no jobs. So why is this happening? Because most people are employed in agriculture. So if you want equitable employment, you should give employment to these people who are in agriculture, because these people are large in numbers, and only if they are brought into the economy, real growth for the country will be there. So he's telling how do you give employment opportunities to them? So he's telling we should create demand for goods that these people participate in producing. Let's say these people are in creating like we can take any example like MSMEs or cottage industries where these people are employed in. So he's telling we should create demand for those products, because if we buy those products, these people will get benefited, right? They'll get employment, they'll get salary. So through that only we can develop our economy. Through that only real economic growth will be there. He's telling in this place IT cannot help because IT needs skill and education which these people do not possess. So IT, it cannot give equitable development. So he's telling IT cannot help here, so we should focus on people who are in agriculture only. So and next is telling the common people, they should indulge in mass consumption. So they should keep buying. Through that only demand for labor will be there, because we will keep buying, so demand for goods will be there. So once there is demand for goods, lot of people will be needed to create that particular good. So what will happen? Firms will hire more people, so more people will get jobs. So he's telling this is the way to go about it. But at the same time, what we should do is telling first you arrest inflation. Inflation is keeping on increasing, so you reduce it. Only if you reduce it, people will have more money in their hand. Only if there is more money, they'll spend on other things. So control the inflation so that people will have more money, and then you increase the demand for these products so that people will go and buy those products. So this is what he's trying to say here. So and he's telling India is growing without creating jobs for the rural people who are unemployed. So because of that, India will not be a equitably developed country. So he's saying this is not good. Welfareism means people, state government, central government, they keep doing welfare schemes, mostly in the form of subsidies. He's telling this is not a substitute for creating jobs. So this cannot work. So he's telling don't follow this. This is not welfareism. You're just subsidizing everything. This is not welfareism. So you focus on creating jobs. Where do you focus? You focus on rural areas where people are unemployed, where people do agriculture work for some season, and in the rest of the season they are unemployed. So you focus on those people. So this is what he's trying to tell. So this is about the employment aspect. So the next aspect is about ecology. He's telling in the ecology part what is happening. We are building a lot of physical infrastructure. Because of that, what is happening? It is harming the nature. So we are building a lot of national highways, but we are not taking into account people who live there, local communities, tribes, villages. We are not asking how it will impact them, what are their grievances. We are not asking them. So he's telling this is wrong. And what is happening? We are taking away agricultural land, forest land, livelihoods are impacted. So we are doing all those things, but we are not taking into account the local people's views. And we are having disastrous geoengineering projects in Uttarakhand and Kerala. What is happening? Here religious tourism is happening, and we are coming up with a lot of engineering projects so that more tourists, more people doing this religious tours. More people they want to come, so they're doing a lot of schemes. Why is this dangerous? Because Uttarakhand and Kerala only are having landslides, floods. In spite of all those things, these two states are planning to have more and more infrastructure projects in their fragile ecosystem. So he's telling this is wrong. You do not do development like this. You should not destruct environment for development. This is also not sustainable. So this is what he's telling. So you take all this into account, then only well-being of the population will be ensured. So I hope you understood this article. Is telling first is telling don't just focus on GDP, size of the economy and things like that. Next is telling focus on employment, and in employment where do you focus, and next focusing on environment, ecology and nature. So these are the important areas where the author touches. So let us go on to the next article. So the next article is about India-France partnership and what are the areas we are cooperating and where there are divergences. So this article analyzes it. Let us see it. So why is it in news? Because celebration of India-France 25 years of strategic partnership. So why is it very strong? For the last 25 years we have not had much issues. So why is it strong? Because shared values that comes through both the countries being democratic, and you have aspirations of peace, stability and strategic autonomy. You should memorize this term. What does strategic autonomy means? Whatever foreign policy that you are doing according to your national interest will be made by you. No other foreign country should dominate you, or your decision should be your own. It should not be based on other country. You cannot be a puppet, or other countries cannot arm-twist you to do your foreign policy. So that is strategic autonomy, and India and France is for strategic autonomy, that other countries, whatever their foreign policies, they should have it on their own and no other country should force them. And what is happening, trade is also is going well, $12.42 billion last year, and France is the 11th largest foreign investor. So 170% of total FDI inflow has come from France only. So trade wise we are doing well, and we have strong democratic ideals also, which makes us find a common ground. And this is the most important thing. So defense ties with French is the most important thing. So what French are the second largest defense suppliers. What are the state of the art defense weapons they are giving us? Scorpion submarine has come with technology transfer. So that is very important, right? They are not just supplying defense weapons. They are doing tech transfer also, so that in the future we can do it on our own. We don't have to buy it from anybody else. And what happened recently, Indian Air Force got 36 Rafale jets, that you know. And Tata Group, what it has done, it has tied up with Airbus to develop C-295 transport aircraft. So this will help logistics, ease logistics. Tactically we can transport during wartime. So C-295, that also Tata Group is going to do with Airbus, which is a French company. And what we are doing, Varuna, Garuda, Shakti with France. We are doing all those wartime exercises. So that is also going well. And what French ambassador is telling is, France is more than happy to help India develop its national industrial base for defense industry. So India's defense industry is in nascent stage, and French ambassador is telling we are more than happy to help India develop its defense industry base and critical strategic defense projects. So that also France is more than willing to help us. So whatever related with defense, France is willing to help us. And this is a very important point. After 1998, that is after Pokhran test, a lot of international countries banned us because of non-proliferation rules. So what France did is, it did not completely comply with the international sanctions, and it helped India. It had trade and defense ties with India. So in the most important and most difficult situation, France has helped India. And what it is doing now, it is supporting India's bid for permanent membership for Security Council, nuclear supplies group. So we are asking for a permanent seat there, and for both these things France is helping us. And in climate change, in the Paris summit, India accepted with whatever goal the French had in mind. So India also helped France with respect to mitigating this climate crisis and things like that. And what happened in 2015? They came up with International Solar Alliance with France. So you know, right? The headquarters is also going to be in India. So who founded it? India and France. So the ties are very strong. So this is the Scorpion submarine. So this project 75, you should keep all this in mind. Calvary, these things. So these things you should know. Project 75, diesel electric. So this is a submarine which we are getting from France, and there is tech transfer also. And this, of course, you know, Rafale. So it is always in the news. So these are its specification. This is the Airbus C295 with which Tata have tie up. So they are developing this in Gujarat, I guess. So defense wise, things are going pretty well. And next is maritime ties, because Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean, both of us are having interest in Indian Ocean and Pacific Ocean. So India and France are playing a prominent role. So for that, what they have signed, joint strategic vision of Indo-France cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. So that important. So this is very important. And French president came to India to sign this. So Indian Ocean region, of course, China is coming. So there are other pirates issue and things like that. So India and France, they have a joint strategic vision for it. So, and what they have started joint patrolling in the Indian Ocean. So why they are doing is, their vision is free, fair and open Indo-Pacific. So Indian Ocean and Indo-Pacific both should be free, fair and open. So this is what they are trying to tell. This is an indirect message to China also. So what are the other areas they are focusing on? Maritime security, regional cooperation and climate change adaptation. And what are the other areas they are focusing on? Indo-Pacific Trilateral Development Cooperation Front. So for this they will use for innovation solution, sustainable innovation. So this also they are doing. And trilateral grouping with UAE for what? Maritime domain awareness and security. So they are not just doing it alone, they are having grouping with other countries also, so that they secure this Indian Ocean, Pacific Ocean, in the Arabian Sea where pirates are there. Those areas they want to secure. So they are doing groupings also. But there is only one area of concern, that is the Ukraine issue. France feels India should take more concrete step with regard to Ukraine. But since we have talked about strategic autonomy, no other country can tell us what we can do. So with regard to Ukraine issue, we have decided to take a neutral stand. That is, we are not going to do anything against Russia. So what are the other issues? Rise of China. So this is a concern for both the countries, regionally and globally. So what are the areas of focus? What are the areas of cooperation? Trade, defense and maritime. So only one issue is that is with regard to Ukraine. And rise of China is a threat for both India and France. So India's partnership with France is built on common values and goals, and these are the other areas where they can improve more and where they can come up with more innovative solutions. So defense, maritime, counter-terrorism, Indo-Pacific, digitization, cyber, green energy, blue economy, ocean sciences and space. So the authors are telling these are the areas with which we can take our relationship much more forward. So that's all about it. Let us move on to the next article. So the next article is about a bullet train project. So what they are doing is, they are going to construct a tunnel to bypass mangroves. So what this is leading to is, earlier it was estimated, the tunnel was estimated to be 100 crores. So earlier the tunnel was estimated to be 100 crores, but now it has gone to 10,000 crores. So why they are doing this? They want to save about 12 hectares of mangrove forest in Thani Creek. So they are constructing a 7-kilometer undersea tunnel. Why this tunnel? This tunnel is for the Mumbai Ahmedabad high speed rail corridor project, that is the bullet train. So 7-kilometer of undersea tunnel which will save 12 hectares, and the project cost has gone to 10,000 crores. So in this, what they are doing is, they will bring tunnel boring machines, and they will create a tunnel under the land. So through that we can save the forest. So during the tunnel boring machine, what they are doing is, they'll do something called as docking. So what is docking is, two tunnel boring machines will come under mid sea and they will join. So this is docking. So why they are doing this? To protect the mangroves. So this is what you should know about mangroves. So tidal forest, salt filtration mechanism. So that I guess you know. So this is there. They can grow only from 25 degree north to 25 degrees south. So what are their characteristics? Small, shrubby, They are equipped to grow in hostile conditions. So, what are the characteristics of the landscape? Saline condition with tidal water flows, muddy soil, deficient. So, you should know they should not have oxygen. So, they should be deficient in oxygen. So, and what will happen? Because of that, pneumatophores will come. So, this is the upward growing root system. So, oxygen absorption from atmosphere. Why from the atmosphere? Because soil is deficient in oxygen because of the pneumatophores. So this is how mangrove looks like. So what are the significance of mangroves? So they are very commercially important for growing marine organisms. So they are nursery grounds. They feed, breed, everything can be done. They are ecologically they are very productive. So for example, the largest nesting site of olive ridley is in Bhitarkanega National Park and Royal Bengal tiger you can find in Sundarbans. So from olive ridleys to Bengal tigers, only this. Uh, Mangroves can do. So what is the extensive of mangrove? What can they do? They are barrier for sea surge, ocean shoreline erosion. They can stop. They can also stop tsunami. So and they are known for their filtration capacity. That is, they can filter sediments, heavy metals, and nutrients. They can even filter nitrogen and carbon. So this is a boon for shoreline economy because they can create medicines, food, shelter, and carbon sequestration. Also they do. That is the blue carbon. These are the economic and the other productive ways with which mangroves contribute to humans. So they of late they're having a lot of threats and they are fading away from the face of earth. So what are they? What are the threats? Biotic pressure and natural disasters, tsunami in Andaman and Nicobar Islands, land acquisition for infrastructure and construction. So dredging operations are going for inland waterways, climate change, and aquaculture. They are growing shrimps, fishes, and things like that. Because of that, in the eastern coastal stretch, West Bengal, Odisha, there we are having destruction of mangroves. So these are the threats of these are the threats that the mangroves are facing. So we have come to the last article for the day. So this article talks about how Bruce finally they are getting voting rights. They'll vote in Tripura. So why are they getting voting rights only now? Is because they have been living as refugees in Tripura and they couldn't vote. They did not have voter IDs. So finally they are getting voting rights and they can vote in Tripura itself. So you should know about Bru tribes. So you might actually get questions from this. So they are called Brus or Rayongs. They are a community in Northeast India. They are mostly from Mizoram, but now they live in Tripura and Assam. So in Tripura they are PVTGs. So this is very important. They are PVTGs in Tripura alone. So this they might ask us a prelims question. So just keep it in mind. So what happened in 1997 in Mizoram? They were attacked. They were sent away from the state. So they were targeted by Mizo groups. They said you are not indigenous to the state, and they chased them away. So what they were doing is they were living as refugees in Tripura. So finally they got right to vote, and they can now vote as people from Tripura itself. So what happened? The central government, state government of Mizoram and Tripura. So these two states and leaders of brew organizations. So what they did, so they signed a quadripartite agreement. That is a four-way agreement in Jan 2020. So what did the agreement say? Home Ministry has committed to incur the whole expenditure of settlement in Tripura. So they are going to be settled in Tripura itself. They're not going back to Mizoram, and whatever expenses that they are going to have because of the resettlement, you will have to allot plots and then you will have to build homes and all. So whatever cost that will be incurred, Home Ministry will take full cost. They'll take it. So this is what it is about. So you should know about Brus. They're also called Riyangs. From Mizoram, they have come to Tripura, and in Tripura these are the refugee camps that they are staying near Agartala. So keep this map in mind. This is what this article is about. Let us move on to the prelims practice question. So I have taken the question from here itself. So Bru community recently seen in the news is related which of the following states? Tripura, Mizoram, Punjab, both 1 and 2. So the answer is both 1 and 2. So originally they are from Mizoram, but now they are staying as refugees in Tripura, and they are getting voting rights. So they will continue to stay back in Tripura itself. So this question is about mangroves. The 2004 tsunami made people realize that mangroves can serve as a reliable safety edge against coastal calamities. How do mangroves function as a safety edge? So what do they do? So the right answer is the mangrove trees do not get uprooted by storms and tides because of their extensive roots. So because of their extensive roots, they cling on to the soil, so they can withstand high pressure winds or tsunami like that. They can withstand. So in 2004 tsunami, mangroves, that's how they saved the people and property. So mains practice question we'll discuss. So the question is about Indo-France relationship. Would you agree that the Indo-France relationship has withstood the test of time? What are the areas of convergence and divergences? Also mention the areas of future cooperation. So would you agree the Indo-France relationship has withstood the test of time? Yes, it has withstood. So 1997 there was sanctions on India because of Pokhran, and during that time only France only helped us. So they helped reduce the restrictions on us. So that you can write. So what are the areas of convergence? We talked about it, right? The defense, trade, maritime patrolling, maritime ties, and with regard to climate change, international solar alliances. So you talk about those areas of convergence, and divergence not much. So divergence is just about Ukraine, because India is not sanctioning Russia. So that is the only area of divergence. So convergence, there are a lot. So you can also talk about UNSC permanent seat, and they're also talking about permanent seat in nuclear suppliers group. Those things you can talk about. And what are the areas of future cooperation? You can write about climate change, cyber security, and green initiatives, green technology. There are so many things we discussed, right? So you talk about all those things. You should write it in 250 words. So you give an introduction, and then you talk about areas of convergence and divergence and future areas of cooperation. Whatever we have discussed in the article, you write. So this is your mains practice question. So that's all for the day. If you liked our content, you can also follow us on Instagram, Telegram, and Facebook. So if you like this video, please like, and if you have any doubts, you can comment in the comment section. Thank you for tuning in. See you again.